Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We get to do the final chapter from Frog and Toad Together by Arnold Lobel. This is the last we'll hear from Frog and Toad because that's all I have in my collection. Let's see how this book ends. This chapter is called The Dream. Let's look at the picture. Right here, we have Toad on a stage. He's wearing a costume with a hat and a feather. And Frog is in the audience, sitting in a chair watching Toad. Toad was asleep, and he was having a dream. He was on a stage, and he was wearing a costume. Toad looked out into the dark. Frog was sitting in the theater. A strange voice from far away said, "Presenting the greatest Toad in all of the world." Toad took a deep bow. Frog looked smaller as he shouted, "Hooray for Toad!" "Toad will now play the piano very well," said the strange voice. Here's Toad on the stage playing the piano. Toad played the piano, and he did not miss a note. "Frog," cried Toad, "can you play the piano like this?" "No," said Frog. It seemed to Toad that Frog looked even smaller. "Toad will now walk on a high wire, and he will not fall down," said the voice. Here's Toad walking on a tiny, tiny wire. Toad walked on the high wire. "Frog," cried Toad, "can you do tricks like this?" "No," peeped Frog, who looked very, very small. Frog keeps getting smaller and smaller in Toad's dream. "Toad will now dance, and he will be wonderful," said the voice. Toad is dancing on the stage. There's a spotlight on him. "Frog, can you be as wonderful as this?" said Toad as he danced all over the stage. There was no answer. Toad looked out into the theater. Frog was so small that he could not be seen or heard. "Frog," said Toad, "where are you?" There was still no answer. "What have I done?" cried Toad. Then the voice said, "The greatest Toad will now—" "Be quiet," screamed Toad. "Frog, Frog, where have you gone? Where have you gone, Frog?" Toad was spinning in the dark. "Come back, Frog," he shouted. "I will be lonely." Toad is falling into the audience. He's looking for Frog. Oh, Toad is falling. Where is Frog? "I'm right here," said Frog. Frog was standing next to Toad's bed. There's Frog right next to Toad. "Frog, is that really you?" said Toad. Of course it is me, said Frog. And are you your own right size? Asked Toad. Yes, I think so, said Frog. Toad looked at the sunshine coming through the window. Frog, he said, I am so glad you came over. I always do, said Frog. Then Frog and Toad ate a big breakfast. And after that, they spent a fine, long day together. There's Frog hopping on Toad's back, and they're outside. They are good friends. Do you have any silly dreams at nighttime? Sometimes I do. Thanks for joining me for Frog and Toad Together by Arnold Lobel. Tune in tomorrow to see what big book we read. Bye, everyone.